a question I often get is do we have agreements with other countries regarding providing information to the United States with regard to passenger name records? No. The only agreement that we have is with the European Union with regard to the provision of PNR.
The first was whether the U.S. has PNR agreements with other countries.
Whether they're different or they're all the same.
Well, I think as Mary Ellen indicated, we do not have PNR agreements with other countries. And the reason,
Not with Canada.
not with Canada, is that the EU, as we've indicated, has unique data protection requirements pertaining to data transfers. And so that was partly the reason why we engaged in the initial round of discussions toward an agreement, because the air carriers were concerned that they would be in violation of EU data protection rules in complying with the requests that were coming from the U.S. government. So to the extent that different countries impose requirements on transfers, we may end up in the same situation, but so far we have only had to enter into these discussions with the EU.
And to be clear about when we were saying that we only have agreements with the European Union, passenger name records are not provided government to government. They are provided directly from the airline to the United States pursuant to U.S. law and to regulations. The Canadian Airlines would send it directly to Tom at the National Data Center that he referenced.
Without an agreement.
Without an agreement. Every other country and authority in the entire world allows the airlines to transfer the information to a sovereign state, the United States, pursuant to regulations and law. Okay. So as I tried to describe, the EU was to provide legal certainty to the carriers, as Ivan indicated.
Okay.
And to go to your question, there are several countries who are indeed collecting passenger name records, two of which, of course, are Canada and Australia, because they are simultaneously negotiating with the European Union. And I believe that for the reasons that Tom indicated for its success, may increase the number of countries or authorities, such as the European Union, may consider it. Again, that's on their own approach based on their sovereign authority.
The extent to which we provide our carriers, or carriers in general, who want to land in a different country, provide that information. I think that underscores something that I neglected to mention earlier, but which is important. This is as much a question of sovereignty as it is of cooperation on mutual interest in protecting security and data. Countries should have the ability to decide who enters and who does not. And this is an important aspect of what every country, I think, has some responsibility. And if a country says that if you want to land in our country, you must provide information about the individual so that we know who is entering our country, I think that is a very reasonable request to make. There is no right to enter a different sovereign country. And while we want to promote travel and commerce, I mean, we're not here to say no, nobody may enter. That, of course, is not neither feasible nor what we want. I think in the world that we now live, knowing the identities of who is coming is essential to what we do.